Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something that most of us deal with every single day, overthinking. You know those moments when your mind races with 1,000 thoughts and you just can't seem to stop? Well, what if I told you that overthinking isn't just something we do by accident? It's actually a pattern our brains get stuck in. And guess what? We can break that pattern. Today, I'm going to share with you some powerful ways to calm your mind, stop the storm of overthinking, and live a little more peacefully. Sounds good? Let's dive in. Chapter 1, The Silent Storm. Have you ever sat alone in your room, staring at the ceiling, thinking about something again and again, until your heart started to race? Maybe it was a small mistake you made at school. Maybe it was a message someone didn't reply to. Or maybe it was just a worry about what could go wrong tomorrow. That, my friend, is overthinking. And it can feel like a storm that no one else can see, but it rages quietly inside your mind. This is a story about Emma, a 13-year-old girl who looked happy on the outside. She smiled in school, did her homework, and always said, "I'm fine," when someone asked how she was. But when Emma went home, closed her door and sat on her bed, her mind became a battlefield. Did I say something wrong? Will they laugh at me tomorrow? What if I fail the test? These thoughts came like waves, one after another, until she couldn't breathe easily anymore. Emma didn't know why it was happening. She just felt stuck, like her brain wouldn't stop talking, like she was trapped inside her head. And she's not the only one. Millions of kids, teens, and even adults go through the same thing. They look calm outside but carry a storm inside. And this storm is called overthinking. It is when the brain refuses to let go, when the heart feels heavy even though nothing bad has happened yet. It steals sleep, it steals smiles, and slowly, it steals peace. But why does this happen? Why do some of us overthink while others stay calm? Is it the way we grow up? The pressure from school? The fear of not being good enough? In this story, we are going to explore it all. Where overthinking comes from, why it happens, what it does to our heart, mind, and future, and most importantly, how we can break free from it. Because, dear listener, this story is not just about Emma. It's about you. It's about me. It's about every single person who has ever felt scared, tired, or alone without knowing why. So take a deep breath. Sit with me. Let's go on a journey inside the mind and learn how to calm the storm, one step at a time. Chapter 2, Where the Storm Begins. Emma didn't always overthink. There was a time when she laughed freely, ran through the fields near her house, and didn't worry about what people thought of her. But slowly things started to change. It didn't happen all at once. It was like drops of rain falling slowly until the storm inside her began. It started when she got her first C grade in school. Her teacher didn't scold her, but Emma felt ashamed. She wanted to be perfect. She wanted her parents to smile and say, "Good job." But that day they were quiet. They didn't mean to hurt her, but their silence felt like 1,000 words. That night she lay awake thinking, "Am I not smart enough?" The next drop came when her best friend didn't sit with her at lunch. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe her friend just wanted to try a new table. But to Emma, it felt like rejection. Her mind whispered, "Maybe she doesn't like you anymore. Maybe you're not fun to be around." And then came social media, pictures of perfect lives, people always smiling, always winning. Emma started to compare herself. She thought, why is my life not like theirs? What am I doing wrong? Each small thing, each silence, each bad grade, each scroll through Instagram became a weight on her shoulders. And slowly, without realizing it, Emma began to live more in her mind than in the real world. But it's not just Emma. Overthinking often begins with fear. Fear of failing, fear of not being liked, fear of the future. It also comes from pressure to be perfect, to fit in, to make everyone proud. And sometimes it grows from past pain, like being made fun of or being told you're not good enough. Our brain tries to protect us. When something hurts, it remembers. When something scares us, it warns us. But sometimes the brain doesn't know when to stop. It keeps going. It keeps worrying. It keeps replaying old scenes, like a broken movie that never ends. And that's how overthinking begins. Some children are told, be strong, don't cry, always succeed. But inside they are soft, sensitive. They care deeply. And those feelings don't go away. They stay. They grow. And one day they explode, not outside, but inside. Emma didn't want to be like this. She just didn't know how to stop it. Her mind had become a puzzle with missing pieces. And every night she tried to solve it, alone. But what if she didn't have to be alone? What if someone could help her find where the storm started and show her how to stop it? That's what we'll discover next. Chapter 3. The Cost of Thinking. Too much. Emma didn't look sick. She didn't have a fever or a cough. She still got up every morning, brushed her teeth, wore her school uniform, and smiled when someone said hello. But inside, she was tired. Her head always hurt. Her heart always felt heavy, and no one knew why. That's the silent cost of overthinking. You don't see it like a broken bone. You feel it like a hidden weight pulling you down every day. Emma's nights were the worst. When the world got quiet, her thoughts got louder. She would lie in bed, eyes wide open, thinking, what if I said something stupid today? What if they're all laughing at me? What if I mess up tomorrow? Hour after hour, her mind kept spinning, like a fan that never stops. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't relax. And in the morning, she felt like she had run a marathon, without moving from her bed. At school, she started forgetting things. Her hands would shake during tests. She found it hard to focus, even when the lesson was easy. She didn't raise her hand anymore. She didn't laugh as much. She started to hide behind silence. Overthinking does that. It makes you question everything, even yourself. It makes your stomach hurt when there's nothing wrong. It makes your heart race like you're in danger when you're just sitting in a chair. It makes you say, I'm okay, when you're actually falling apart inside. Some kids become quiet like Emma. Others get angry. They snap at friends. They cry without knowing why. They pull away from the people who love them because they're too lost inside their own head. Even eating becomes hard, or sleeping, or feeling joy in small things like music, sunsets, or funny stories. The brain is so busy worrying that it forgets how to rest. Overthinking doesn't just hurt your mind. It hurts your life. It steals the fun from fun days. It turns small problems into big monsters, and it makes you feel like you're never good enough, even when you are. But Emma didn't understand all of this yet. She just thought, maybe I'm broken. She wasn't. She was hurting, and she needed someone to tell her, you're not alone. You can heal, and your thoughts don't control you. You control them. In the next chapter, Emma's journey begins to change because someone finally notices her silence, and they say something simple, something powerful. You can talk to me. Chapter 4. You don't have to fight alone. It was a rainy Tuesday when everything changed. Emma sat by the window in her classroom, watching the raindrops slide down the glass. The teacher was talking, but Emma wasn't listening. Her mind was far away, stuck in 1,000 what-if thoughts, as always. But then, someone noticed. It wasn't a big thing. It wasn't dramatic. Just a soft voice behind her that said, hey, Are you okay? It was Mrs. Parker, the school librarian. She had kind eyes and always wore purple scarves. She didn't teach math or science. She just helped kids find stories. But that day she found Emma. Emma opened her mouth to say, "I'm fine." She had said those words 100 times before, but this time, the words didn't come out. Instead, her eyes filled with tears. Mrs. Parker didn't panic. She didn't ask a million questions. She just sat beside Emma and handed her a tissue. Then she said something simple, something Emma had never really heard. "It's okay to feel this way, and it's okay to talk about it." Emma didn't talk much that day, just a little, just enough. She said, "I can't stop thinking. I feel like something's always wrong, even when it's not." Mrs. Parker nodded gently and said, "That sounds really heavy, but I want you to know you're not alone, and you don't have to fix this by yourself." That one moment, that one conversation was like a tiny light in Emma's dark tunnel. It didn't solve everything, but it gave her hope. And hope is powerful. Emma started visiting the library more, not for books this time, but for talks, safe talks, quiet talks, no judgment, just listening. Mrs. Parker told her that many kids feel like this, not because they're weak, but because they care too much. They feel deeply, and sometimes that makes life harder. Emma also started writing in a journal. Every night before bed, instead of letting her thoughts race, she wrote them down. It was messy at first, but slowly her heart felt lighter. That's the thing about overthinking. It grows in silence, but when you talk, it begins to shrink. Emma wasn't fixed overnight. She still had tough days, but now she had someone to talk to, someone who saw her, someone who reminded her, "Your thoughts are not facts. You are more than your worries." If you're like Emma, if your mind feels heavy, please remember this. You don't have to fight alone. There is always someone who cares. There is always a way forward. And most importantly, you are not broken. You are human. In the next chapter, we'll discover what Emma learns about how to calm the mind, step by step, and how even small actions can change everything. Chapter 5. Finding Peace in the Storm. Over the next few weeks, Emma slowly began to notice something. The storm inside her wasn't as loud anymore. It was still there, but it wasn't as strong, and little by little she started to feel like she could breathe again. It wasn't magic, it wasn't instant, but it was progress. One day Mrs. Parker gave Emma a book. It was full of stories, but not just any stories. These were stories about people who overcame their worries, their fears, and their overthinking. Emma read about characters who had to face hard things, just like she did. And she learned something important. Overthinking is like a cloud in your mind. It's heavy and it blocks out the sunshine. But clouds don't last forever. With time, they can move away and the sun will shine again. Emma wanted that sunshine, so she started taking small steps to calm the storm inside her. The first step was simple but powerful: breathing. Each time her thoughts started racing, Emma would close her eyes and take 3 deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth, slowly, gently. She would count 1, 2, 3, and focus only on her breath. It wasn't easy at first. Her mind wanted to race, to jump from thought to thought, but Emma kept practicing. And soon she noticed something amazing. The more she focused on her breath, the more peaceful she felt. The storm inside her started to quiet down. The second step was writing down her thoughts. Every night before bed, Emma would sit at her desk, open her journal, and write. Sometimes it was just a few lines. Other times it was a full page. She wrote about everything: about her worries, about her day, about the things that made her happy. By writing, Emma began to untangle her thoughts. It was like taking a messy pile of strings and carefully organizing them. Slowly, the confusion started to clear. Writing helped Emma see her thoughts for what they really were. Just thoughts. They weren't truths. They weren't the end of the world. The third step was asking for help. Emma learned that overthinking doesn't always go away by itself. Sometimes the best thing to do is to talk to someone. It could be a friend, it could be a parent, it could be a teacher or a counselor. It didn't matter who. It mattered that someone listened. One afternoon, Emma called her mom. She felt nervous at first, but then she told her mom how she'd been feeling. Her mom listened carefully without interrupting. And after Emma finished, her mom said, "I'm so proud of you for sharing this with me. It's okay to feel this way, and we'll work through it together." And just like that, Emma felt a little lighter. Talking wasn't always easy, but it made the storm feel a little less scary. Overthinking feeds on silence, but when you speak up, when you share your feelings, the storm becomes less lonely. The more Emma talked about her worries, the less control they had over her. She began to see that her thoughts weren't as powerful as they once seemed. The last step Emma took was to focus on the present. Instead of worrying about the past or the future, she started to notice the little things around her, the sound of birds outside her window, the smell of her mom's cooking, the feeling of the sun on her face. The more she stayed in the present moment, the less her mind raced ahead. When she focused on now, the what-ifs didn't have room to grow. Through these small steps, Emma realized something important. You don't have to wait for the storm to end. You can find peace right in the middle of it. The storm didn't vanish completely, but Emma learned how to live with it. She learned how to slow it down. And every day, with each deep breath and each small step, she became stronger. In the next chapter, Emma will share what happens when she starts teaching others how to calm their own storms. Sometimes helping others is the best way to help yourself. Chapter 6. Helping Others, Helping Yourself. A few months after Emma started her journey, she felt different. Not perfect, but stronger. Her thoughts didn't control her anymore. She had learned how to breathe, how to write, how to speak up, and how to stay present. Her storm didn't vanish completely, but she could now face it without feeling lost or afraid. One day during lunch at school, Emma sat with her friends, a group she had known for years. They were laughing and chatting, but Emma noticed something. Her friend Mia, who usually loved to talk, was staring down at her food, not touching it. Emma could tell something was wrong. She had seen that look before, the same silent storm she had felt. She didn't want to ignore it. She wanted to help. She reached out gently and said, "Hey, Mia, is everything okay?" Mia looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. At first, she just shrugged. "I'm fine," she said. But Emma knew better. She could see the worry in Mia's eyes. Without pushing too hard, Emma said softly, "You know, I've been feeling like that too sometimes. I used to think about everything so much, and it made me feel like I couldn't breathe. But then I learned some things that really helped me. Would you like to hear them?" Mia's eyes softened. She nodded. "First, I learned to breathe," Emma said, her voice calm and steady. "It sounds silly, but when I started breathing slowly, it helped my mind slow down. You could try it now. Just 3 deep breaths. In and out." Mia followed along, looking at Emma as she took a deep breath. Slowly, her shoulders relaxed. "See?" Emma smiled. "And then I started writing down my thoughts. It helped me see that the things I worried about weren't as big as they seemed in my head. Maybe you could try writing it all out, like a letter to yourself?" Mia's eyes brightened a little. That's actually not a bad idea. I also talked to my mom, Emma continued. She helped me see that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. We all have our tough moments, and we don't have to go through them alone. Mia took a deep breath, looking a little more at peace. I think, I think I'll try that. Emma felt a warmth in her chest. She had shared the tools that helped her, and now Mia was starting to feel better too. The next day, Mia came to school with a small notebook in her hand. She smiled at Emma. I wrote it all down last night. It felt good to let it out. Emma grinned. I'm really proud of you. Helping Mia wasn't just about giving advice. It was about sharing the journey. It was about showing her that she wasn't alone. Emma realized that teaching someone else what she had learned also helped her. It reminded her of how far she had come. It reminded her of the power of simple things, like breathing, writing, and talking. Emma knew now that every person has their own storm. Everyone has their own worries, their own thoughts that try to take over. But sometimes by helping someone else calm their storm, you find peace in your own. As Emma continued to help her friends, she noticed that overthinking didn't seem as strong. It wasn't because the storm had stopped. It was because she had learned how to live with it. And the more she shared her tools, the more she found her own mind at peace. The journey wasn't over, but Emma had learned something important. Healing isn't just about fixing yourself. Sometimes it's about reaching out to others. Sometimes it's about saying, you're not alone. We can do this together. In the next chapter, Emma will face a big challenge, a test of everything she's learned. Will she be able to calm her mind when the storm gets stronger? Will her new skills be enough to stop the worries from taking over again? Let's find out. Chapter 7. The Final Test. It was the day of the big school play. Emma had been looking forward to it for weeks. She was one of the lead characters, and everyone was counting on her. It should have been a fun, exciting day. But instead, Emma felt her heart racing. The storm inside her had come back, stronger than ever. As she stood backstage waiting for her cue, her mind began to spin. What if I forget my lines? What if I mess up in front of everyone? What if they all laugh at me? Her stomach twisted in knots. Her hands were sweaty. The bright lights of the stage suddenly seemed too bright, and the cheers from the audience sounded far away. She wanted to run away, to escape the pressure, the eyes, the expectations. But then, she remembered everything she had learned. She remembered the deep breaths, the writing, the talking, the moments of peace she had found in the small steps. I've got this, she whispered to herself. I've done this before. I'm not alone. I can do it. Emma took a deep breath. She counted slowly. 1, 2, 3. She closed her eyes for a moment and thought about the audience, not as a group of strangers, but as friends who were there to watch her shine. She thought about the stage, not as a place of fear, but as a place to share her story. And then she stepped forward. She felt the nerves, but she didn't let them control her. She remembered her breathing, her writing, her talks with friends, and in that moment, Emma realized something important. Overthinking wasn't about stopping the thoughts completely. It was about not letting them control her. She could feel the storm, but she didn't have to live in it. She began to speak her lines. At first, she stumbled, but instead of panicking, she laughed it off. It's okay, she thought. Everyone makes mistakes. And slowly, as she got into the flow, her confidence grew. The storm in her mind quieted. The stage felt less like a battlefield and more like a place where she could be herself. By the end of the play, Emma was smiling. She hadn't been perfect, but she had been real, and that was enough. As she took her final bow, she felt proud, not just of the performance, but of how far she had come. The storm still came from time to time, but now she had the tools to face it. If you're watching this, maybe you felt like Emma. Maybe the storm of overthinking has taken over your mind, making everything feel heavy. Maybe you're afraid to take that first step out of the storm or to face the worries that control you. But just like Emma, you don't have to be perfect to be strong. You don't have to stop overthinking entirely. You just have to learn how to calm the storm when it comes. You can do this. Here's what you can do today. 1. Start with your breath. When your thoughts race, take 3 deep breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Focus on the air, not the worries. 2. Write it down. Grab a piece of paper or a notebook. Write your thoughts, your worries, your fears. Just get them out of your head. 3. Talk to someone. If it feels too heavy, talk to a friend, a parent, or someone you trust. You don't have to go through it alone. 4. Stay in the present. When you feel lost in thought, focus on what's happening right now. Look around, listen, feel. The present moment is always the safest place. Remember, the storm doesn't control you. You control it. Every time you face your fears, take a breath and share your thoughts, you grow stronger. You are not alone. You are not broken. And most importantly, you have the power to calm the storm inside you. If you've learned something from Emma's story, take one small step today. Breathe, write, talk, and let's stop overthinking together. If you found this story helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. By sharing, you can help others find the peace they deserve too. And by subscribing, you'll never miss out on more stories and tips to help you calm your mind and live without fear. Together, we can stop overthinking and live with peace.